Okay, here we are again for another episode of Empyrion. Where Whoa! 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 Okay, that's no longer whoa. So I'm gonna fly for a moment. Oh, look at that. Technically, that ring is around this moon, not that planet. But over the course of the day, that ring moves, and that does not make the least bit of sense. It's... whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm here to talk about the Intrepid, the ship from Starflight that came out in 1986 or 1987, and I played it way back then, and it pretty much ruined me for life on games, on the kind of things I'd be interested in. There was even times, you know, I'm out walking or hiking, especially in the snow for some reason, and I would get Starflight moments, like, oh, I'm on, you know, I just felt like I was on one of those worlds. It's just really neat. But anyways, so here's the ship. This is not absolutely final. I'm going to go through and tweak the textures a little bit, especially on the outside. But it's pretty dang close. The insides are done to a degree. Insofar as I've laid out all the rooms. So let's go on inside. I'm going to do a walkthrough, and this will be probably the final episode for this. I still want to play Empyrion. I just don't know what to do after this. Maybe I can start branching out and making new ships that don't exist. Not that the first two didn't exist. Or did exist. Whatever. Okay, so we has the hangar. And we has the terrain vehicle that comes with the ship in the game. It is stored in the ship somehow, so it is stored here. We got some defenses against things. We got shields to keep in the atmosphere and keep out parasites and such and other things. I don't know if... I'm pretty sure people can just walk through the force fields though, so there's that. From here, we have sort of crafting stations, a small industrial plant. I've been dispersing these throughout the ship because the crew needs to be able to sit for this ship to actually move. I did change a thing. This is still a security office. The displays have changed, but now there's a brig. The only problem I have with this so far is the brig doesn't have a bathroom. So that might need some work, but you know, it's not going to be so amazing that it's worth a whole episode by itself, right? So yeah. Let's see, repair. Woo! Okay, repair thing. There's a hangar up here. Well, hangar control up here. You can get access to it from the outside, which is something of a risk. However, that is why they have blast doors, to protect themselves from encroachers getting into the hangar bay. From here, you got the repair capacity, a lot of fluff, more places for people to sit, and even a command seat from which you can operate the ship from back here. And since this is situated, like if you go here and then V and then Alt, you can see the center point of our view is actually a more natural position. Hello. Which is nice, except for the fact that you can't see where you're going, which is why, since last time, I put this display. Of course, that display doesn't do anything, but it's, you know, in theory it could, and you know, whatever. So, right, you also have access, gosh, the time in that do not match. Also behind the blast door is access to the engines and ammo. This is ammo, and this is all the ammo there is right now. Lots of storage, lots of fake computation. There's lots of gravity wells. I found out these things actually have a range limit, and the ship is larger, so there have to be multiple ones dispersed throughout the ship for every part of the ship to have gravity. Here's a lot of like working space for people. Again, doesn't do anything, which is kind of too bad, but you know, needed something to fill the space. We have a big engine, and there's another big engine at the far end. This thing here essentially simulates what I'm calling the hyperline, which is device that sort of wrenches space so that the ship can slip into hyperspace or the space above space, which has a different scale and different operating parameters, which makes it possible for the ship to move faster than the speed of light without actually moving hardly anything at all. It's kind of like warp, but not exactly the same thing. I do not remember 100% what they call it in game. I'll probably have to load up GOG, Good Old Games I think it is, because they do have it there, and play for a few minutes and see if I can find out. So lots and lots of space here for crew to do crew things. It's quite orange. Don't know why, but it felt very industrial to do, or have it so. You can get into the Hyperline to do repairs if you need to through here. It's protected from radiation by that means. And of course there's more workspace on the other side. There are also these sort of photonic emitters, which is not the same thing as a laser, but it's just basically taking excess energy that is required to or produced by slipping in and out of hyperspace and shunting it through armor that is transparent to the form of energy they were able to convert it into, which is essentially light. So technically, in order for the ship to go fast, it becomes a bit of a beacon, which is a drawback. But when you play the game, you're going around in hyperspace, you get followed around all the time anyway, so theoretically this is why. Otherwise, more big engines and an oxygen thing and lots of essentially fake things that look important. Again, I had to make the ship based on the design from the game, but trying to figure out what was... Oh, and this is next to the, right here, the missile launchers. So presumably this is like a way of filtering energy into the missile that will be shot. Or propelled, I suppose is the right way. So it's pretty much the same on the other side. If you head back this way, there's a bit of a lounge for the people working on this side. This is the starboard, if I'm not mistaken. RCS, which I call a gyro. Micro bathroom. Actually really big. I'm surprised. I forgot all about that. Close! Jeeps. But yeah, so where they can rest up. Oxygen access and more blast doors. These ones are actually controlled by a switch. So they can have access to, or they can, if there's like a coolant leak or something, they can have it filter out through here and just wait for things to cool off so they can do their repairs. But again, they don't want anybody just walking in off the ship and getting access to the engines, so you got the blast doors. Alright, so on up in here. Actually, I'm going to go down this side because it's a dead end on this side. Right, so we got the piece... yin-yang, I guess. We have a sanitation center, get cleaned up, and we have a bar, I guess, a lounge, it's cafe. This is meant for people who are working in and out of the ship and are not expected until their shift ends to be able to gain access to the more sensitive inner parts of the ship. So they have a rest, they can get a break, they can get lunch, clean up. If they expect to have to go back out again quickly, that one didn't really need that. Oh, well, the textures could use work in here. But they can even bunk down. Excuse me. That was a sneeze. So, bathrooms, all that stuff, it's all good. This is where you take a break when you can't really take a break. By break, I mean 16 hours until your next shift. Yeah, so before going up front, you saw this far, but we have access to the various cargo pods. Now, the ship doesn't have to have all the cargo pods in the game. You start with no cargo pods and only 50 cubic meters of cargo space total, which is covered by that right there. That is the standard cargo space. However, rubbing my nose for some reason. Hold on. This adds another 50. These are emergency supply pods. So, like, MREs, rations, medical things, lifeboats, that kind of thing. There are 3 on this side, 3 on the other side, and another 2 up at the front. another cargo pod, another cargo pod, all the way to the end there are more cargo pods. And so the ship gains more space for the storage of cargo by the addition of cargo pods. And I don't know if I'm going to go through all the other, oh my gosh, all the effort of taking them off. Whoops, I have to go over here. Just to publish this, or if I'm going to publish it as if this was a fully featured ship. I suppose I could try both and see if the dumbed down version goes down a class or something. Alright, so on this side, again, another sanitation station, but in this case, there's a med bay on this side, and there's a convalescence area and the rest area here, but also a full retinue of medical tools. There's also now sort of an airlock, which actually should have force fields, shouldn't it? To get in. Now we're officially inside the ship. I mean, granted, all that is too, but this is the inside. From up here, we have a small lounge for the engineers. They can see how this ship is doing from here if they need, but if they're taking a break while working in here. This is the main core of the ship. So you got computation above. We got like real computation, by the way. Fake stuff. It would be nice if it actually was functional. We have a shield generator, and we also have a pulse emitter. Whoa. A pulse emitter that actually, in theory, uses the shield as the source of the pulse to sense objects in the distance. And so you got a lot of like heat sinks and weird crap like that. Warp core and cell, both for the shield and for warping. They use the same fuel supply. And let's see, more fake computation and more real computation. These are, I think, the T3s right here. I have specific names for them. And then the original core, and we has a guy who probably won't be published with it, just sort of operating or maintaining the thing. So let's move on here. Right. This is going to be a longer episode, but it's kind of needed to have a full walkthrough. So back out. Now we're going up the neck. It's hard to tell from inside, but we're heading up the neck of the ship. You can hear this still shooting outside. There are mu, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu. So 12, I think, bunks going up the neck. And I went back and forth. If you saw any of the previous episodes, you may have seen that I agonized over what to do with the neck for a long time, including agonized over trying to get all the cargo pods connected, and that just wasn't happening because for some reason the game capped off at 300,000 units. And I'm like, no! Anyways, these all have manual doors for privacy because whenever I was walking up and down, every single one was opening. It was driving me nuts. Every bunk has 8 bunk beds, and a seat, and an entertainment center, and a place where they can play cards or something. So there's, other than the fact that every room is color coded, you got the dark version, and then the next color, light version. Whoa! I'm wondering, now that you can sit at these, whether or not you can also sit at those when the ship's in motion. But again, dark, you can see the point. What the heck? Oh, okay. Anyways, now it is light out. Very good. So, actually that makes it easier to see. This room, this hallway's not well lit. There was nothing I could think of to do about it. So, 8 times 12, we got 96 bunks. So crewmen, the non-officers, or at least non-senior officers and crew, 96 beds. If you need more than that, they could be cycling through beds too, but I think 96 is plenty. We're now officially in the head of the ship on the lower level, and in the lower level we has labs. Right now and not completely textured, but again, I'm still going to do the final draft before publishing. I don't see a point to record it really. I'll do recordings for like the fake ad I'll make about this ship to sell it to people. Not really, but I mean as if it were. But anyways, these are the labs. There are up to 6 of them. They can be used for various things, so whatever you want the ship for, you got 6 rooms to use. We have the Zen Cafe. This is a place that I've previously described as being exposed to life. So, it's not like a huge cafe. There's not like a gourmet kitchen or anything. There's some ability to like make bacon and eggs and various things like that. But, you know, and then here you've got a nice view. It's not quite 10 forward, but it's more like 1 forward. First deck, right? Going up or down, I don't know. Anyways, these plants give off plant-like chemicals, perfectly natural. Life forms actually do need to be exposed to them in order to stay healthy and used to the concept of being around other life forms. So this is sort of a therapeutic space. So it's not just that you can pick these berries and make that coffee and whatever. It's also that you're breathing in the stuff and staying sort of acclimated and not going to like succumb to having allergies to every single planet you ever go to. So then you go up, well, you go off to the sides here. This is deck 1.5, I guess. You got the sort of side engine room. In an emergency, it will never happen in game, I have to imagine, but in an emergency, if, let's say, the rear end of the ship was lost, the front end could still technically maneuver, thanks to the engines here. But it's also just to keep the ship balanced to a certain degree. Like, not all the engines are in back, so the laws of physics, you know, the front will help lift and move forward and backward too. Excuse me. Go up. So again, it's mirrored on the other side. We've got the help. This is a crewman. Probably not publishing the ship, so I don't know if it'll break it for people who are trying to subscribe to it or not. But this is the command deck, and all this space out front is kind of wasted just because of the nature of how the glass works. It makes me sad, but there was little I could do. So hey, there's plenty of standing room. But you've got the front command chair. You've got these guys who are sitting here. They have like access to maps and various terminals. Mostly though, whomever is driving will be here, and whomever needs to be sitting still so the ship is allowed to move will be sitting here, here, and here, and here. This is the number of officers I think I remember being in Starflight 1. It could be 7, so I have rooms for 7, but I think it's 5. Now here we have more like sort of not really doing stuff, but it looks important. We have the captain's prime quarters. The captain gets hardwood. It might be fake, I don't remember, but you know, it's like this is the primary quarters. You can see out. It's no longer as tall as it was in the previous episode. Nice sun right there. I'm having a hard time getting through this monologue. Jeez. But, you know, got their own bath and all that stuff. Nicely oxygenated. It's very good. Boink. And then 6 other officer, like senior officer quarters. They get quarters entirely to themselves. They are also color-coded. You got the blue. You got the sort of mauve. I don't even know what color mauve is. They each get their own window, which is kind of nice. Look at that view. Looks like there's prominences. Quite a few. Oof. And then we have the forward metabay. It's not as fully featured, but most traffic is not going to be coming in from the top of the ship. You know, this is more or less if you have to come out and do maintenance on the ship, you can come out up here. Or if, like, say a shuttle, you know, lands up here temporarily, they can get access through here. But because it's not as much traffic, the medical concerns are not as extreme. This does go down to, the ground. All this talking, whoo, it's making me kind of phlegm up. You do have access, so again, access is only through medically controlled areas. So this is a buffer. It is also a buffer. If you head towards the back, open this black, well, this one's already open, but this is also connected to the rear of the ship through the cargo, you know, here are the cargo pods all the way up and down. It's, you know, we don't want it as a secret way to try to get control of the ship, so it's got a blast door. But if you do come this way for any reason, guess what? You can get a checkup first. Is that thing running? Yes, okay. So, yep, those are those. Struggling to fill the space. Here is the forward emergency supplies on, you know, again, on the other side as well. And it's sort of a nook with a rear view portal here. Just, you know, not bad. So you can sit down, you can see how the ship's doing, you can sort of curl up in a quiet corner here. It's all good. And then you head down back to deck 1. And And here, the forward gravity, well, required so that the forward even has gravity. I found that out the hard way. But otherwise, that's pretty much all this room is for. And let's see. I think that is the whole ship. Now, it's kind of crazy, actually. 96 plus 7, 103 crew. 103 crew, right? So, maybe I should look at the terrain vehicle real quick, too. See? Isn't that in a different place than it was before? I mean, you can see it's no longer associated with the planet. I appreciate that this game does atmospheric attenuation correctly. Orbital mechanics are way wrong, but the attenuation is good. But that was over there before, I'm pretty dang sure. Or maybe actually it was there the whole time and the planet moved over there. I'm going to get a time lapse afterwards, and we'll find out that. Because I haven't had the patience to just sit here and stare and see how wrong the ring is. But, let's go this way. We've got the laser spot here, for lack of a better word. That is consistent with the game. In the game, there's just one giant laser, but this game is unable to produce that effect. And then we have a missile launcher on each side. Again, they're kind of small versus the overall size of the ship. They look bigger on the ship in the original game, but there's nothing I can do about that here, and be true to what the ship is and what it can do. But the ship comes with a terrain vehicle, and it only comes with one, so if you lose it, you have to go back and buy a new one. Terrain vehicle has to have a cargo space of 50 cubic meters, just like the standard cargo space that comes with a ship. And that has been accomplished. This thing can carry 50 cubic meters, I think. Or maybe it's the small one can. I can't remember. But you got a couple of spots here on either side. The same thing on this side. Anybody sitting in any one of these can technically control the turrets that are attached. In the game, it comes with a laser. So those are close enough. I think this is all the cargo right here, including we also have fuel and a shield, more seating space. I mean, you can haul quite a few people. But the primary responsibility of the ship was, it's got the lasers, it's got the ability to mine, which is different here, but there you go. And it carries the cargo to and from the ship. You know, you go out in the game, you will go out, you land somewhere. You go out and you find a mineral vein. You'll mine it. You'll mine like a dozen more. You might stun a creature and bring it in. And then when you've got a full cargo, or if you're otherwise satisfied, you head on in and it gets deposited into the ship's cargo. So I've done as much as I can to simulate that effect. And there you have it. That is the Intrepid. I believe is the name of the ship that that is detailed in the story that comes with Starflight 1, which is more like a backstory. It went out, it had all these issues, it got damaged or mostly destroyed, and thrown back in time, and was found by the people who were going to make it, and used as like the blueprint for their making it again, if I remember correctly, and it was called the Intrepid. So this one is too. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Expect for this series no more episodes from here on out. I might find some reason to come back and do more, but I really shouldn't. I should pick up some other game or take a break. So thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with the season. Oh my god, it took a long time, didn't it? But there it is. It's done. Sort of. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna make some tweaks. You know, finish off the textures. I might research how to do decals. If I can figure out how to do these new decal things that I've seen other people do, maybe I'll make an episode out of that. But that's a big if. Thanks for coming. And well, I guess see you around.